Okay, so we have a new episode of Legends and Leaders, and today it's great to have Brad here. Brad, you're the CEO of Care.com, and Care.com is really an incredible platform that has helped, so many families. It's millions and millions of families find help, find somebody that becomes a part of their lives essentially, and helps watch over their kids, helps their family out, and it serves an incredible need. Especially today where we've got so many things going on, families need this assistance, and they need to find somebody that can be, this essentially third parent. And you have your own personal experience that Care has been able to help you on too, which is great. But I'm excited to have you and to get into your story.
It's great to be here, Ben. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. So I'd love to just kind of go back to your origins, essentially, like how your interest in the world of business happened, what made you want to be a business leader, and how also you gravitate towards this category of, doing something that helps people. It's around care and in general. So yeah, I'd love to start there.
Yeah. Well, I was very fortunate. I grew up with two phenomenal parents and an older brother, younger sister. And, my father was in business for, 4 decades and was an executive at a number of companies, mostly with digital reprographic systems like Xerox and Kinko's and the like. But, I got to watch my father. I thought was an excellent role model. And so I was exposed to that quite a bit at a young age. I don't know that I think I knew I wanted to be in business, but I was also an athlete growing up.
Mhm.
And, for me, I think leadership came somewhat naturally. I think everyone goes through their own journey. But after college, I made a decision early on. I was going to go quickly into get my master's in business, an MBA. And I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted to do. I came out kind of around the time of the dot-com boom. So I graduated undergrad in 96 and then master's in business around 2001. But being in Dallas, Texas, I was kind of unique in that I really wanted to play in the technology space.
Mhm.
And I got really fortunate. I got into Match.com at the time, which was a little bit like this space we're in now with caregiving. There was a bit of a stigma with online dating. Now it's seen as sort of a normal path to find your match or your soulmate. And I will be honest, I sort of went in kicking and screaming. It wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, but it was here in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. And it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. I got to work for and with a number of really bright leaders and just a phenomenal ground training in really the transformation of, physical formations or digital or regular distribution of business into, this new shaped technology and distribution through the internet. So I think for me, that led me down a path now for skip forward a couple decades.
Mhm.
And I've worked in mostly these marketplace businesses where there's, marketplaces are kind of found around entering a market and really providing choice, transparency, education, and support. And so I leapt into this 2 years ago. I saw a lot of similarities from my past in prior roles with Expedia, LendingTree, and Match.com. And, for this space, what I loved about it is it's incredibly mission driven.
Mhm.
We're a brand that's been a leader in the space for nearly 18 years now. And we really power the invisible infrastructure that helps families, businesses, society, and the economy. And so, I myself, I'm a single father. At the time when I jumped in, not only did I love the mission of what we were trying to do, but I was sort of living it. My wife, who's since passed away, was suffering from cancer. And I had my own caregiving journey, and I was trying to get her care, and I was trying to be a good father. I was trying to be a CEO, and so I was living, I think, what a lot of families go through. We all have many care occasions in our home and out of our home, and it just really spoke to me in terms of if we get this right and we continue to evolve and really be impactful for our members and our caregivers and even our employer partners, we can do a lot of great stuff in the world. So I love what we're doing. It's a great opportunity for us. We've gone through a bit of a rebrand here. You can see the logo on the back, but it's not just a rebrand. It's a bit of a transformation for the vision that we have for this company, which is really providing meaningful connection and support for families, trying to help our caregivers get jobs and thrive and have well-being in what they do day in and day out. And we're super thrilled with the product experience and the things we're building right now. So that's a bit of the journey
Mhm.
and how we got here. But it's a lot of fun, and I feel very privileged to get to do what we do day in and day out with the people here.
Yeah, I mean, it's an awesome business and it serves a really important purpose. I mean, is the logo behind you in the rebrand, Brad, was that like meant to be almost like a hug? Like you're kind of hugging a child? Was that part of the design element?
Yeah, thank you for catching that. We call it the embrace, and
Mhm.
so what we really tried to do is really elevate our brand, get a little bit back to our roots. The original brand had more of a green undertones in it, and we wanted something that really represented the person that's being cared for. In this case, the lowercase c, and then
Mm.
the broader caregiving community, and that could be anybody. It could be a parent, it could be a grandmother, it could also be the caregiver, a professional caregiver on the platform. And so we really wanted something to speak to our entire community, and it can stand on its own. So the other thing that's kind of interesting is, we are proud of the care.com heritage in the name. And
Mhm.
sometimes the .com aspect of these things can become outdated. But if you were to play this out in a bit of a animatronic type way, uh, you can see the C from the .com kind of get folded into the larger C. So we think it's a great imprint, and the brand stands on its own. It was really led by two phenomenal leaders. Bill Chase is our head of consumer, just a incredible low ego, high character leader. Mei Ling Tan, who really ran all the brand efforts here, and she's just a world class professional in brand marketing and management, and put a lot of care into this. So I appreciate you noticing, but that's called the embrace.
Awesome. It's a great kind of vision and a lot of interesting, just great communication, brand communication behind the logo. It really it just entirely resembles what you guys do, which is really good.
Thank you. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
So when you think about like just how kind of like who you're servicing, right? Like you've got such a big depth of people. You have the younger generation where you have families that need this for their kids, but then you also have elderly care. I mean, your market is every demographic. How do you think about building the care.com brand to kind of cater towards this? Because there's just so many people that could use care.com.
Yeah, that's right. So we view our mission as we want to build a world of greater care. That is our mission. Our vision behind that really encompasses three things. So one, we want to be the leading platform for finding and managing care. So I think we did a great job of helping people find care, specifically within childcare and our early legacy. But that has evolved now to more types of care. But that's the first thing. And I think the second thing is, with that, if we do it right, and most families have between 3 and 7 care occasions in the home, whether it's child care, senior care, pet care. We want to make sure that we're driving that connection and helping you manage that throughout your lifestyle. And then lastly, we want to be a strong advocate for families who need care, but also our caregiver community. So we take that mission and vision very seriously. I think what we've learned over time is that we started out fulfilling a very big need, which was people needed to find affordable, quality, and convenient childcare. But it's now so much more. I mean, there's a lot of stress on families right now. This is a very high stakes game for families and for caregivers who are really trying to find consistent care. And so, the world's a bit evolved with our busy lifestyles, and people are much more transient. So, uh, greater than 80% of families actually want a single provider to help them manage all their care needs. So, we're evolving our brand and our product experience to go do that. So, things like, we want to move from not just connecting, but how can we help you help provide value after you match in the home. It may come in the form of things like parental guidance. It may come in the form of things such as backup care, which is a big need. I know that I need. My primary caregiver sometimes falls through or gets ill or has a change in plans. So we're thinking and imagining new products from that regard.
Mm.
But also, I mentioned other forms of care beyond childcare. Senior care is a burgeoning need in this country. And by 2030, there'll be actually more seniors in the United States than there will be children. So we're launching all new senior care features and products. The one we're really proud of is a senior care guided experience is launching very soon. And that'll take someone from those very first questions for what you need in your senior care experience all the way through a touch point with a master's level social worker who will help you understand what's the right in-home caregiver or facility for you, or how do you help finance such a what can be a very expensive situation. How do you have the conversations with your aging loved ones? So we're really excited about that product coming out. But also, just we've been known for the flexibility that we provide for families because we've forever provided in-home caregivers. But the reality is some people want places. And so we're really proud that we've launched camps and activities for our families for those summer months when it's really hard to get that care and they're out of school. We've also launched senior assisted living centers on our platform. And of course, we put daycares on our platform too. So the arc of the brand is really changing. We're starting to really evolve what we offer on the platform and also innovate ways in which we can really drive that connection and fulfillment for families. Another thing we're really excited about is in the back half of this year, we're going to be launching a lot of new AI features that help drive some conversation between a family and a caregiver. And also we're looking at launching video interviewing and messaging on the platform, which we think is a total game changer because when you're really trying to find that caregiver, figure out the unique needs you have as a family, but also develop that trust, just having the conversation and seeing sort of the personal intonations over video and the gestures and all the things that you need to see beyond the spoken word, that really helps our community develop the trust they need as they're developing these relationships.
So, Brad, you made an interesting comment a little bit earlier in what you were just saying. You said that the population, like there's going to be a lot more people, elderly people that are going to need care. There's kind of this shift from younger people to older people. I was reading through the rebrand that you guys were doing. You talked about how just there's a smaller amount of people today that younger individuals that want to become parents. Do you think that by making care more accessible, easier, and some of these features you're talking about by rolling these out, that will change, and there will be a lot more younger people that do want to become parents because it's less of a burden, I would say. Is that kind of the direction you're going in?
Yes, yeah. I think that's a shift in time right now. I do think that's going to shift back. I think the government's obviously stepping in and try to provide support. We're very proud of some of the things we've assisted with, along with a number of other leading companies in this area to help influence a lot of new efforts in the big beautiful bill. The child care tax credit, as an example, which supports families, has increased. The child and dependent care tax credit has also increased. The big one that probably doesn't get talked about enough is something called 45F in the big beautiful bill, which helps companies. It increases their rate, or their tax credit rate from 25% to 40%, and the amount of dollars that go to childcare related expenses from 150,000 to 500,000. So those increases help their employees provide benefit, help the employer provide benefits to employees for easing the burden of those expenses within childcare. So we have over 700 partners today, employer partners, in which we help provide caregiving benefits. And we're all excited to have that conversation. And companies are starting to respond to say, yeah, that's a meaningful benefit. We're going to help support with more caregiving days for our employees. And that we think that helps ease the burden in the household.
Makes sense, and it's good that those are efforts that you're taking. When you think about like just the rebrand in general, I think the rebrand's been really significant for you guys. Like the platform looks so modern. I was looking at the app, like it's just much nicer, much easier to navigate. Can you talk a bit about like what went into this rebrand, some of the thinking you had around just how to make this more usable, easier to experience, and how to get more people to want to book caregivers for themselves through care.com?
I sure can. Yeah. I think what we saw is a few things up front. So one is we wanted care.com to be beyond childcare. And so we mentioned all the other services we have across pet care, senior care, housekeeping, tutoring, et cetera. And so this is really meant to tell a story that there's all forms of care in the home and we can help support that. That's the first thing. I think the second thing is, and I go back to Bill and Mei Ling and the team, they did a really masterful job here. If you look at the way we went to market in the past, we were really only speaking to a small subset of the United States. And so this is really meant to go towards a bit of a younger demographic, and certainly ones who are a bit of in that sandwich generation even as well, which is you're raising young kids, but you also are starting to carry a little bit of the worry and burden around, I have some aging loved ones or parents where I'm actually playing a support role too. And then, of course, we know that there are 90 million pets in the homes in the United States. And so there's just a whole again, 3 to 7 different types of care occasions in the household, depending on who you are. So we really want to speak to a broader audience. And to your point, we've been thrilled with this rebrand, and our awareness and consideration is up very materially since it's launched. And a lot of a lot of these direct to consumer companies, we measure ourselves based on what is known as just simply direct traffic, and meaning people type in care.com or they go right to our apps. And we've seen a phenomenal jump, better than I've seen in my 25 years doing this. So we've clearly struck a nerve. We're talking to the right people. It's resonating with them. To your question and comment on the consumer experience, we didn't want this just to be about a rebrand. Yes, we want to speak to people in a different fashion, but we really want to pay it off in terms of what you can see in the experience. So first and foremost, when people come to our apps and our product, we know people are enjoying a much better connection and messaging experience. So our search and match is better. We've added new features such as you can now pin your searches and save your searches at the top of the application. Our messaging backend technology is screaming fast now, much, much better. We just launched something called tappable responses in our communications last week, which means we're all really busy. I take my use case as an example. I actually found my caregiver last weekend on Care as I relocated to Texas, and I had 50 different people reach out that wanted to have access to the job. I interviewed many, but let's face it, that can be hard. And you're trying to figure out, how do I respond very quickly? We want to have AI help them with some inferred responses that can kind of either nudge them along the communication or let the caregiver know, your background looks fantastic, it's great, but I've moved on with a couple of other different candidates. And that helps the entire ecosystem with trust on the platform, and also makes our caregivers feel like, okay, I'm getting the responses I need, even if it's one I don't like, immediately, to keep going and find another job on the platform. So we're just constantly moving down the path of expanding our supply, really trying to add features and innovation that can help facilitate greater responses and connection on the platform. And we also want to add more choice, value, and flexibility in our pricing and plans. And that's something we're really excited about. We launched an access plan last week, which is basically an opportunity if you want to have a little bit of more limitations on the functions in the platform. You don't have to do a recurring subscription offering, but you can contact a select few caregivers that would give you at least a limited access on the platform to maybe try it out a little bit to see if there's value you can get before you match and after the match. So we're constantly innovating, and that's how we're thinking about the product.
Yeah, I mean, you also introduced a lot more around safety this time with the 24/7 hotline. I think that's a pretty big feature.
We did. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for noticing that. So we are the only platform right now that is offering that background checks through our Care Protect product.
Mhm.
Every individual now has to be ID verified on the platform. So you
Everyone.
must be who you say you are. And to your point, a 24/7 hotline where you can call us at any given time. So trust and safety is paramount. 74% of the people on our platform cite that it has to be the first thing and most important thing on the platform. So we take it very seriously, and we're going to continue to invest in that area.
Are there ways that like AI can help you there? Because yeah, I mean, you mentioned it's so
Again,
important. Yeah.
yeah, spot on. So we have our own AI propensity models in the background, constantly learning. And it's not something we surface visible for the platform today. We may choose to do that in the future, but there are things that we do that alert our member care and safety team if we see activity that we might not like, that needs a little bit more human eyes on it, and it can just cut people off from the platform altogether. So yeah, we're using AI quite heavily in trust and safety.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I'm sure that's going to continue to ramp up. What has it kind of been the response, Brad? Like since the rebrand happened, like what is some of the feedback you've got, and maybe some of the upcoming changes you want to do now?
Yeah, feedback's been terrific. So I think, one, I mentioned we're seeing more people consider our product. That's through our monthly survey data in terms of kind of brand equity and awareness and consideration. The other thing I mentioned is, too, we've been thrilled with the response of people visiting our apps and our platform. And I can say that we're a public company, so I can't get into too much information, but it's been some of our best performing weeks in a couple of years on the platform. So
Wow.
we're really thrilled. The thing that we've actually seen that is I won't say it's too surprising, but we're quite pleased about, is we are a membership product. And so, when you come to the platform and you subscribe, oftentimes I think an area of opportunity for us has been, how can we plus up that membership
Hmm.
to get people a little bit stickier experience, and as we're saying, have them stick around for value after the match. And since the rebrand, we're actually seeing people stay at a higher clip than before. And we think that's because the product experience is better. They're actually now finding a quicker and better match. But also, we're making the experience more seamless from a cross-sell perspective, and introducing them to new verticals, such as, yeah, you know what, I may need that pet care, or yes, I do have aging parents, and this senior care guide experience that's coming can help us actually figure out the care we're going to need in our household. So we've been thrilled with the metrics. And just in general, I have to tell you, when you launch these brands, so much of it too is about the culture and who you are. And this is a very mission-driven company. I wish people could feel and see the earnestness at which they attack what we're trying to build here. And it's great to see when you get a team and people are just they want to wear the emblems. I'm here, I'm drinking my coffee out of it as well. The brand is prevalent. We're proud of the mission. We're proud of the vision. And it's people want to wear the logo, which is great. So we're thrilled with what we have.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many areas that care.com can be in, and you mentioned these 7 different categories, but even like, I mean, just elderly, like that is rapidly growing, especially the amount of elderly people that want to just be at home and have somebody take care of them at home. Not
That's it.
necessarily.
That yeah, absolutely right. That's a trend we're certainly on brand. Most people want to age in home now, and frankly, more people are living longer and a little bit healthier lifestyles, but sometimes they need a little support. So we've always been a bit on brand there. Nobody has known, actually a limited set of people have known that we were actually in senior care. Actually, I should mention that because you've asked what are we seeing with the rebrand. Senior care is an area now that is the part that's growing the quickest, because
Hmm.
I think people knew our brand for childcare before. And now that we've started to message and voice through our advertising, senior care, we're seeing the greatest velocity in terms of improvement right now. So that's been a nice piece that we've seen with the rebrand.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a massive demographic for you guys. I've been around some of these nursing homes and just also some bunch of elderly people, and today the trend is that, and yeah, I mean, the new rebrand I'm sure will really help too because it just sets a different direction for you guys.
Yeah, and it's really that's a complex situation to navigate. And then one of the things I always say too is, if you think about even the history of digital technology and marketplaces, I don't believe there's a single product that's ever existed where, number one, you have very fragmented supply. So
Mhm.
I worked in travel. If you think about Expedia worked in many ways because it's a commoditized transaction. You know how to buy an airline ticket,
Mhm.
and you know how to go get a hotel, and you're dealing with large brands of supply in many instances where you can aggregate very quickly on a platform. We have hyper fragmented supply that aren't necessarily represented by a big company. So we've done that hard work. We have almost 700,000 caregivers on the platform, but aggregated supply that's very fragmented, high trust and safety quotient. There's nothing higher from a trust and safety hurdle you have to pass. We've done that. We get a lot of equity from our customers and our caregivers from that. And then also, there's nothing more unique from a personalized and diverse product for the family. In other words, everything is a customized SKU. So those three things make us incredibly unique. We've done the hard work. We get a lot of credibility for that. And now people are starting to understand we do that beyond childcare. So that's why senior care in particular, we're really excited about this senior care guided experience, because yes, people can come to us and know what they want for an in-home caregiver, but there are just a lot of questions people have for that unique instance they need
Mhm.
for their aging loved one or parent. And so we love the fact that we can launch this and help people, guide them through the process, and then ultimately get them to the thing that makes us really unique, which is this master's level social worker who's there to nurture them through the experience and get them the support they need. So we're really excited about that.
So, Brad, just the last question I have, like, what is your vision for the future of care.com? And we touched on a bunch of points I think that are in that, but what do the next 5 to 10 years look like? What is this kind of grand picture, and where do you see yourself, leading this as a CEO?
I'll go back to what I mentioned earlier, because we believe it and live it. It's not about just finding care. It's about helping support you and manage care in the household. So
Mhm.
today, we do the finding part very well. We're the largest by a long shot. We have a number of different pricing and plans that we're now getting to launch. But we do want to play a role in helping you manage that care, whether that's the backup care support I mentioned. It might be continuous monitoring or social media checks of the caregivers you had if you're using them in an episodic fashion. It also may mean expanding into, if you think about children who maybe their best form of care is this little device they put in front of their face, but when you're dropping them off at soccer practice, maybe it's a location-based services. But I would just say it's more innovation in that finding and managing care. We want to be one of the most beloved brands. We are today,
Yeah.
but now it's just expanding into more households. And again, we really want to be a strong advocate for caregivers and our families. To the question you asked earlier, it's very costly. It is high stress for our families. This is one of the greatest challenges of our time and our society. I feel so privileged and honored to play a role in this. I know that the employees of this fabulous company do too. We want to make an impact. We really want to have a role with Washington. We want to have a role at the state level. And our way of doing that is to help them understand that there has to be some support by way of some maybe government incentives. But the beautiful thing is we have a lot of employers who are willing to help out as well in helping them get the insights that they need to see the how their community is thriving with that support is as a role that we can play. So we just want to keep innovating. And as we say, our goal is just to delight customers each and every time and making sure they get the support they need. So we're thrilled to take on that challenge every day.
Brad, I appreciate taking the time and doing this. I know just from like a personal experience, we've used care.com. And when I moved over from Arizona to Florida, right away, it was like we needed somebody. Care.com was the best resource to use and was very helpful. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that have
So pleased to hear that.
Yeah.
So pleased to hear that. Well, that's great. Well, I think we think everyone's going to be thrilled with what's coming. I often tell people the next 6 months is going to have more innovation in this 6 months than the prior 18 years. We're launching a lot of stuff in the next 6 months, going back to kind of the connection points, new pricing and plans, new verticals, innovation, et cetera. So everybody's really excited inside these walls.
That's awesome.